Once again, hello and welcome to the support and training videos for the California Applicants Attorneys Rating and Indemnity System, powered by CompCalc. This is the second of 3 videos, rating with the CompCalc Plus. By now you've probably already completed viewing basic features and functions. An additional video includes advanced tips and techniques. Again, I would really encourage you to take the 8 to 10 minutes to listen to each of these 3 videos to fully understand the different modules and features and functions of the CompCalc. Before we begin, once again, all users of the CompCalc are instructed to consult the DEU and legal counsel to confirm all information and data provided by the CompCalc. The CompCalc is an estimator, not a calculator. Last, it's not the intent of the provider nor the developer of the CompCalc to provide legal analysis, advice, or recommendations, nor to create an attorney-client relationship. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to tap on Safari, get into the CompCalc. I'm going to bypass going to the CAAA website, but you'll have to go through the website to get to the CompCalc. Okay, as you can see, we come right up into the permanent disability rating module schedule. This is the rating aspect of the CompCalc. I demonstrated in basic features and functions just a quick rating, and we're going to do a more complex rating here, and then I'm going to go through the algorithms behind the rating so that you understand how the combined value equation works and when it applies, and then I'm going to provide you with some instruction on how to save those ratings and how to generate an email if you choose to. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to go to our navigation bar. We're going to tap on permanent disability rating. We were already there, but I did that just to remind you that we have this navigation menu up here. Okay, the first thing we want to do is we want to start out, and again, this is a bidirectional. You don't have to clear everything out and start over. Anytime you want to change any of the variables on the rating that you're working with, you're able to do that. The rating that we're working with is always the rating string that is reversed highlighted, the one that has the gray hue on it. Let's start out by clearing the rating string, all inputs. So we're starting all new, and you can see that we have a, whoops, I accidentally tapped on that. I'm going to clear all inputs, and what you can see is that we, when it is cleared, and it's going to go back and watch this when it's first cleared, and then it'll go back and recalculate based on the default inputs. But it gives you WP ID, FEC, occupation, age in the rating string. Then it automatically recalculated given the default inputs. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put in the date of birth. We do that by clicking on the calendar. And there's 2 ways to move through the calendar. One is by month, and we're going to say that this gentleman was born on the 15th of June. So we're going to double click on that. But we weren't through. We wanted to change the year. He was born not in 1980, but 1975. And so the way I did that was I just clicked on the year, and I had a roller bar. And I clicked on the year 1975. So now I've set it for June 15th, 1975 as his date of birth. You can see that changes, and it automatically starts modifying your rating string. Then we have a date of injury, and the date of injury occurred in 2016, and we're going to make this real easy to follow. So we're going to go to June 15th, and I want to make it, the year will be 2017, let's say. So June 15th, 2017. I want to show you one other thing. If you do it in order, you don't have to go back and forth. One of the things that I wanted to do with the CompCalc is increase efficiency by increasing speed by decreasing the number of clicks or strokes. So let me show you how efficient this is. If you first go to the year 2017 and then go to the date, you're not going back and forth. You're in here one time and you've just inputted it. So what I was doing earlier on is I was showing you the month and then changing the year, and I had to go into it twice, but that's not required. If you go to the first of the year and then click on the month and the date, you'll be in and out on one occasion. Now what we're going to do is in this rating string we have a three-part rating. Okay, we want it to be a little more complex. This person has an injury to their low back that's rated as a DRE3. They have an injury to their upper extremity involving ulnar entrapment or peripheral neuropathy, and we're going to rate that out. Last, we have a knee injury as well, chondromalacia grade 3, and we're going to go ahead and apply a whole person impairment to that, and I'm going to show you how to go through this. The gentleman who was injured here worked as a baker in a bakery, and so we're going to go through that as well. Okay, so for right now we're going to start out by doing the back DRE3, 13% standard. We have apportionment on this, and we're going to go with 75% apportionment. Now you can see down here there is no apportionment, but as soon as I click on 75%, you're going to see it automatically modifies that adjusted 23% to 17%. Now we're doing the spine, low back, and so I'm going to double click on spine. It comes up with it. It's a lumbar DRE3, so I'm going to search on the detailed part of body by typing in LUM for lumbar. It comes up with the DRE3. I double click on that, it closes it down. Now I told you that he was a baker, so we're going to go to BA. Bakery products is what we're going to select. And you can see I just searched on that. Now, and he was a baker. See how quick that was to locate what a baker was? Now, I'm going to do something a little bit risky here, but we're going to go ahead and go to occupations. I want to see what happens when I search, and I haven't checked on this. And look at, we get the same one. This is meat processing, but you can see that we have baker in a 420 occupational variant. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on that, and of course it adjusts it for age and occupation, and we're done. Okay, now so we've just completed our first rating string, but this person has an average weekly wage. He was just a baker's apprentice, so his average weekly wage was $330. And you can see, and I used round numbers so we can see that the calculation is correct, but it wouldn't matter. You can see it's 220 of 330, but let's say it was 336.26. And as soon as you input that, it automatically adjusts the PD rate, 2/3 of the average weekly wage, and it carries it all the way out to the amount. Okay? Now the combined value is checked, but it's of no consequence. Why? We only have one rating string. Okay, let's go ahead and add our second rating string. We go up here to Edit, and we're going to add a new rating string. Double click on that. And now we're working on a second rating string. You can see it duplicated. It moved the first rating string down, and now we're working on the new rating string. Now, in my hypothetical, the second rating is an upper extremity injury, and we're going to go ahead and just search on upper or extremity, lower or upper, but this is upper. It's going to change. I said it was a ulnar entrapment, so it's probably rated as a peripheral, well, brachial here we go. I'm going to go ahead and go with peripheral arm neuropathy, entrapment, compression, other. And here again, the doctor is going to actually provide you with that, and the areas that we're going to be arguing over with the doctor is his whole person impairment and perhaps his diagnosis and application of the under the standard rating method chapter or table. Okay, let's say the doctor, this is a serious condition. Let's say the doctor gives him a 19%, a 20% whole person impairment. So it's pretty serious. And let's say the doctor says that there's no apportionment. We're going to go ahead, because we're working on the rating string, we're going to go ahead and take out all the apportionment. Now you can see it adjusts the upper extremity for age occupation to 36%. Now, the occupation we're not going to change because the injury occurred out of the same occupation group, so we don't have to change that. We don't have to change the date of birth, the date of injury. We modified the whole person impairment. We modified the apportionment. We modified the part of body injured, but we keep the occupation, and you can see we're going to keep the average weekly wage. Combined value equation is 47%. Now let's talk a little bit about the combined value equation and how it works. The equation, simply put, and it's best demonstrated by an example. Let's take 3 rating strings. Let's say you have, and I go through this in advanced tips and techniques under the combined value module, but let's say you have 3 numbers. Let's say you have a 10, a 20, and a 30. When you add those up, you have 60. The way the combined value equation works is you get all of the highest. That's 30%. You take 30% and subtract it from 1, and you multiply that times the second highest number. In this case, 30% minus 1 is 70%. You take 70% and you multiply it by the next highest number. In my hypothetical, that would be 20. That gives you 14%, not 20, because you're only entitled to that percentage that's remaining. So again, you get all of the highest, in my hypothetical, 3 numbers, 30, 20, and 10. 30%, you get all of that. You multiply that times, or you subtract that times 1, or subtract it from 1, that gives you 70%. You multiply that 70% by the second number, the next highest number, 20%, and you end up with 14%. 14% plus 30, it should be 50, but it knocks it down to what? 54%. Then you take that 54%, you subtract that from 1, you have 56% left, you multiply that by your final number, your lowest number, in my hypothetical, 10%, and you end up with 5.6%. You round that up to 6%, and you add that. That takes 30, 20, and 10, which should, if you aggregate it, equal 60%. Instead, you're adding 30 plus 14 plus 6. That equals 30 plus 14 plus 6 equals 50%. So it substantially reduces the value of the case. In our hypothetical that we're working on right now, we have 36% and 17%. When the combined value equation is not applied and it's aggregated, your total amount is 53%. When it is applied, and that's 66,000 and some change. When it is applied, it drops it down to 47%, and you can see it drops the PD down to 56,000 and some change. So it drops us down from 66 to 56, $10,000 through application of the combined value equation. So that's why it's important to make a determination on whether or not the doctor believes, and now we know it's a medical question, the doctor believes that the more accurate rating should apply the combined value or should not apply the combined value equation. In other words, do you apply the combined value equation, or is it aggregation of the successive rating strings? Okay, continuing with our rating. We now have completed our rating of the upper extremity, which has no apportionment based on a 20% whole person impairment adjusted for age and occupation, which produces a 36%, and the back, which is 75% industrial, based on a DRE 3 13% standard, adjusts out to 17% after apportionment. Combined value equation, 47% for $56,000 and some change. Okay, let's add our last rating string. Now, in my hypothetical, I told you that the applicant also had a knee injury. So I'm going to go ahead and add my third rating string. And we're going to go through. We don't change the date of birth, the date of injury, or the whole person impairment. That's going to change. Let's say it's a 9% on this knee injury. And let's say it's only 50%. Let's go 80% industrial on this knee. He's got some chondromalacia and there's some apportionment to non-industrial. We're going to go ahead and modify this to lower extremities. You can see our search is limited to extremities right now. If we take that off, we have everything, all the different body parts of body, general. But as soon as we type in EX for extremity, we have lower. And we're going to modify that to be, let's just put in knees. So all we have are the knees. And let's say it is, we'll just go with an estimate. Let's just say that it's based on, I don't know what the doctor is going to use here. Let's say it's a meniscectomy. Of course, it's unlikely. You must be using Guzman on this to get to 30% on meniscectomy. But okay, so we're on the knee. We're at 13% after adjustment for age, occupation, and considering 80% apportionment. We're not going to change anything else. We have the combined value on. Now, watch what happens here. If I turn off the combined value, we're almost at a life pension for almost $90,000. If the combined value equation is applied, it drops it down from $90,000 to $67,000 for $23,000 savings. Significant. Okay, so we've completed our rating under this hypothetical. What do we want to do with our rating? Well, we want to go to File, and we have a couple of options here. The first option is to send it out by way of an email, and we can save it in our file by way of an email. Once we generate that email, and I want you to take a look at this. It automatically generates our email for us. And there's a couple things you can do here. You can send it to yourself. Let's say I want to send it up to my, let's say it's Lassen Ranch that we want to send it to. It automatically generates my email and allows us to go to my contact information to put in our email. We can go ahead and modify the subject line to say this is whatever applicant's rating. I'm just going to put test. Okay. And we can send it out. Another thing that we can do is we can go ahead and copy it. Now, you can see it looks just like a DEU rating. So what I've put is our tagline, the complex made simple. And I'm going to go ahead and just copy this. And I could just mail it out. I'm not going to. I'm going to close this out. And I don't want to save it. I want to go back to my rating. And now watch this. Let's say I go into Microsoft. And what I want to do is it's opening it. What I want to do is I want to save this away into my file. Well, I've just put it on my clipboard for saving everything. And there's my rating. And now I have it in a Word document. I can also, if you're using Maris or your other, you can go ahead and use that clipboard to store it into your file. And now you have the rating ready to go. If you're a defense attorney like me, you can send this out to your client via an email and just copy it over, or you can go ahead and store it to your case management. And let's say you're an applicant attorney, it's really critical to have access to your case management file notes, and you'll have your rating in there, and you can save it under whatever name and whatever file you might want. Okay, now we've just done this. One thing that you may want to do is also save it on your local area on your computer. And what we've done is we just saved it up here. I don't know if, let me do that again so you can see. I'm going to clear that out. This is my download area. Okay, watch what happens here. We're going to go ahead and save it. And now we have it up here. And we can take this and put it on our desktop. I'm going to clear this out. And we have a PD rating that we can load. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this out. I'm going to change the name on this. I'm going to change this to test. Okay. And now I'm going to clear out everything. Clear out all the inputs. And now I'm going to go ahead and load it. And it'll ask me where it is. I go to the desktop. We can see the test. And I want to make sure that you see this. Everything's cleared out here. Okay. We're going to go to load. We go to desktop. We go to test. Double click on that. And here's our rating back up. So we can save everything locally. Now, what I said at the beginning under basic features and functions is that privacy is critical. And so once you exit the CompCalc through the California Applicants Attorney's website, anything that you were doing during that session is erased unless you've saved it away. And you have to save it away one of two ways, either by using the save feature or generating an email, and or using your clipboard if you generate an email to save it away to your calendaring and docketing, your case management system, if it's Maris or otherwise, or by using the save and then load feature and saving it to your desktop or a subdirectory on your local computer. Okay, that is rating with the CompCalc. Hopefully that gives you a pretty thorough overview. Just a couple of quick comments. First of all, as you go through this, if you have any thoughts or ideas about improving it or things that you would like to have changed, or Rich, can we do this? Drop me an email or give me a call directly, and I'll be happy to take a look at it. If you have any concerns or questions about how the CompCalc is behaving or what it's doing, give me a call, because I certainly want to hear those types of issues as well. Okay, thanks for watching and listening, and again, if you have any thoughts or comments, let me know.